Friends, today we are going to learn chapter number 4, metals and non-metals. What are the topics already we will learn in it? Physical properties of metals and non-metals, chemical properties of metals and non-metals, displacement reactions, chemical properties of non-metals, uses of metals and non-metals are the some topics about which already we are going to discuss in this chapter. Now let's see, try to understand what is metals and non-metals. We have seen different types of materials in our day-to-day life, right? There are too many materials that we have seen in our day-to-day life. If we classify them on the basis of their properties, it is relatively easier to learn about them. Yes, if we classify all the materials into two, metals and non-metals, do you know what do you mean of metals? Metals are already described as chemical elements that readily lose valence electrons to form positive ions. Example: aluminium, copper, iron, tin, gold. In another word, we can say elements that are hard, solid, malleable, ductile, possess luster and conduct heat and electricity, right, are known as what? Metals. Non-metals, elements those are do not exhibit the properties of metals are known as what? Non-metals. Like they are non-lustrous, brittle and poor conductors of heat and electricities, right? And another one, third, there are another type of material called metalloids that shows the properties of both metals as well as non-metals, about which already you will learn in the higher classes, but just for your knowledge, right? So example of the non-metals are carbon, boron, etc. Now first of all, let's try to understand about the physical properties of metals. As it is already I told you before it about the metals are hard and have a high tensile strength. Solids at room temperature except mercury we find in liquid at room temperature. Sonorous, good conductors of heat and electricity. Malleable means easily we can, when we beaten into thin sheets. Ductile, can be drawn into thin wires. High melting and boiling point, right? Dense, except alkali metals. Osmium, highest density, and lithium having a least density. Lusters are the some properties. Now let's one after one we'll discuss about it. See the first, appearance. Metals are generally found in grayish in color, but gold has a yellow appearance while copper looks reddish, right? We knows well about it because those all the metals already we are seeing in our day-to-day life. Next, physical state. As it is already we have, I told you before it, most of them metals are in solid at room temperature. Iron, zinc, copper, tin, all the examples of it. Except mercury is a metal that exists in liquid form at a room temperature. Metals generally have high tensile strength and are hard, but as it is same way, sodium and potassium are very soft metals that can be cut very easily with a knife. Another one is luster. Do you know what do you mean of luster? The property of metals by virtue of which the science is called what? Luster. This sign is generally referred as metallic luster. Malleability. Metals are malleable The property of metals, when we hammered or beaten into thin sheets without breaking, they turn into thin sheets without breaking, is called what? Malleability. Example: gold, silver, copper are malleables. We have seen we are using the silver foils to decorate burfi. So at such a moment we are making a very thin layer of the silver foils, right? As it is in nowadays life, we are using a aluminum foil to pack our foodstuffs, most of them. Next one is ductility. Do you know what do you mean of it? The property of a metal to be drawn into thin wires is called what? Ductility. Same example, silver, copper are the very ductile metals. See here, I want to tell you about the gold. Gold is the most malleable and ductile metal. Just for your knowledge, 1 gram of gold can be drawn into a wire about 2 kilometers. How long? 2 kilometers from the 1 gram gold. So from it we come to know how it is a malleable and ductile metal. Now another one property of it is sonority, sonorous. Do you know, when we already stuck on it, they produce a ringing sound, is known as what? Sonorous, right? It is the reason that chimneys and bells are made up of metals. So all of you understood about the different properties of the metals, like appearance, physical state, luster, malleability, ductility, sonority, right? As it is, they are good conductors of heat and electricity also, and due to this property, metals make them suitable to use as cooking utensils and heating elements, as well as it's a good conductors of electricity. So it is used to make a electric wires from the copper as well as from the aluminum, right? Except them also, some metals like silver allows electricity to pass more easily than other metals. It is the best conductor of electricity. Copper, silver, aluminum, even the gold, all are the metals can conduct electricity. Even silver and gold are best conductors of electricity among them. You think why electrical wires made up of copper and not of silver, aluminum or gold? Do you know about it? Because copper is best for this purpose. Even gold and silver are the best conductors of electricity and good conductors of heat. So loss of electrical power is most in case of gold and silver wires. As well as we knows about it, gold and silver are the very costlier metals, right? Similarly, aluminum is cheaper and lighter, but its ductility is very low, and thus it becomes brittle if bent too often. And so that's why copper is more suitable to make electrical wires. As it is, metals are very high densities because their particles are tightly packed each other. Some metals like sodium, potassium, however already we have discussed about it, calcium, which have low densities, are exceptions. Lithium is the highest, while osmium is the densest, right? Due to high densities, metals generally have high melting and boiling points. Once sodium and potassium are exceptions, tungsten has the highest boiling point. Now let's try to discuss about the physical properties of non-metals. However, the properties which are not possessed by the metals is generally known as what? Non-metals. Metals are generally dull or non-lustrous. but graphite and iodine are different than that. Non-metals are soft and dull. Example coal and sulfur. Non-metals are generally brittle. Do you know what do you mean of brittle? When already we hammered it, it's break down into a powdery form. In the powder form is known as what? Brittle, right? Diamond is an allotrap of carbon, is the only non-metal that is hard. In fact, it is the hardest known natural element on the earth. They are not sonorous, right? Because they cannot produce a ringing sound. Got it? And they are poor conductors of heat and electricity. Got it? Bad conductors of electricity and heat. Now chemical properties of metals. Let's try first of all copper plus moist air plus oxygen plus carbon dioxide. So what we get? Copper hydroxide plus copper carbonate, Cu plus H2O plus CO2 plus O2, copper plus water plus carbon dioxide plus oxygen is equal to COOH2 means what? Copper hydroxide, as well as what another we get? Copper carbonate. Copper carbonate, we know well about it. Copper carbonate and copper hydroxide are basic in nature. We have seen, see, on the copper material we get a green coating. See how we get it? When copper vessels are exposed to moist air for a long time, a dull green coating appears on them. This green compound is a mixture of copper hydroxide and copper carbonate, which are formed due to the reaction of moisture present in the air with copper. Got it? So like this way, it's a react with copper. Now chemical properties of metals and non-metals, reaction of metals with oxygen. First of all, let's try to discuss about it. When metals react with oxygen, they form what? Metal oxides. So metal plus oxygen, so metal oxide, so copper plus oxygen, so copper oxide, aluminum plus oxygen, so aluminum oxide, magnesium plus oxygen, so magnesium oxides. The reactivity of the metals with oxygens are what? Different, as well as sodium with oxygen, so sodium oxide, iron plus oxygen, so iron oxide, right? Now let's see some example over here. Sodium and potassium react so vigorously with air that they can catch fire when they are kept in open, hence they are immersed in kerosene to store them. As well as the surface of magnesium, aluminum, zinc and lead are covered with a thin layer of oxide to make sure that they do not get oxidized anymore. Copper surface is coated with a thin layer of black copper oxide to prevent the process of further oxidation from taking place. Gold and silver do not react with oxygen gas. Got it? Now amphoteric oxides. Some metal oxides react both with acids as well as bases to produce salts and water. Such metal oxides are called amphoteric oxides. Example, aluminum oxide plus hydrochloric acid HCl. So what we'll get? Aluminum chloride plus water, as well as aluminum oxide plus sodium hydroxide. So what we'll get? Sodium aluminate plus water. Got it? As it is zinc plus hydrochloric acid, so zinc chloride and hydrogen. So like this way it's react with metal and acids. Now reactions of metals with water. When metals react with water to form either oxides or hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Metal plus water, so metal hydroxide, yeah, metal oxide and hydrogen is produced. Metal plus steam, so metal oxide and hydrogen. Example: sodium plus water, calcium plus water, aluminum plus water, magnesium plus water, iron plus water. So iron oxide, sodium oxide, calcium hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide, aluminum oxide. So like this way it's react and we get its product. The reactivity of metals with water are differ to with each and every. Got it? Some very reactive metals like sodium reacts violently with cold water, while metals like gold, silver, and platinum do not react with steam. They are called noble metals. Now let's go with the new point. See the some examples of it given over here. Already we have discussed for it. Some metals like sodium and potassium reacts vigorously with dilute acids. Sorry, here we are discussing about water. Sodium, potassium and calcium react with cold water. Magnesium reacts slowly with hot water. Aluminium, zinc and iron react with steam. Lead, copper, silver and gold do not react with water. Right? Calcium and magnesium float on water as bubbles of hydrogen stick to their surfaces. Now reaction of metals with solutions of other metal salts. Metal plus solution of metal B, so short solution of metal A and metal B. More reactive metals replaces less reactive metals. Less reactive metals cannot replace more reactive metals. Now reaction with acids. Generally metal react with dilute acids like hydrochloric acid to form corresponding salts with the evolution of hydrogen gas with a pop sound. A metal reacts with acids and releases hydrogen gas with a pop sound. The presence of hydrogen gas is confirmed by bringing a burning matchsticks or candle near the gas. And when the burning matchsticks or candle produces pop sound, then it means that hydrogen gas evolved over here. What it means produced over here. It is found that copper does not react with hydrochloric acid while it reacts with sulfuric acid. Generally, now let's go for the non-metals. Non-metals do not react with acids. Now reaction with bases for metals. Generally reactions of metal with bases releases hydrogen gas. Like in case of many metals, they react with sodium hydroxide to produce hydrogen gas. Non-metals with bases are complex. Now displacement reaction. See, what do you mean of it? We have seen that metals react with air and water at different rates. If we arrange the metals in order according to the rate at which they react with water, oxygen or acids, such that the most reactive metal is placed on the top of the series and the least reactive metal is placed at the bottom of the series, we will obtain a series that is generally termed as a reactivity series of metals. Got it? That chart is already you will get in it only. The metals at top in this series can displace a less reactive metal from its salt, but a less reactive metal cannot displace the more reactive metal from its salts. Now what do you mean of it? A reaction in which a more reactive metal displaces a less reactive metals from its solution is called displacement reaction. See here the reactivity series chart from the most reactive to least reactive. So potassium is the most reactive while gold is the least reactive metals. Got it? Now next is uses of metals and non-metals. Metals are used in making machinery, automobiles, aeroplanes, trains, satellites, industrial gadgets, cooking utensils, water boilers, etc. Non-metals are also used in day-to-day life. Some examples are oxygen is essential for life as well as for the combustion. Nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium are used as fertilizers. Chlorine is used as a water purifier. See about some more, we'll discuss about, we'll try to understand about it. Gold, silver and platinum are used to make jewelry. Magnesium is used in fireworks. Aluminum is used to make foil. Tin is used to make cooking utensils and electrical fuse wires. Mercury is used in thermometers as well as in CFLs. Sodium, titanium are used in space research. Lead is used for making X-ray and bullets, and for making bullets are the some uses of metals. Now let's try to understand about non-metals. As already we have discussed earlier, oxygen is essential for respiration as well as for the combustion for burning, right? Carbon is present in nutrients like vitamins, fats, proteins as well as in carbohydrates in the form of carbohydrates. Carbon is present in allotropic forms like carbon, graphite, coal and charcoal. Diamond is very precious non-metals used as a gemstones. Graphite is used to make electrodes in dry cells as well as for making a pencil leads. Hydrogen is used as a fuel for making vegetable ghee. Iodine is used as an antiseptic which already we are applied on cuts and wounds. It is used to prepare iodized salt also. Nitrogen is used to preserve food as well as liquid nitrogen is used to preserve blood and other donated organs, so which is one of the most important use of the non-metal like nitrogen. Even nowadays we are using in the vehicles also, in the tires of vehicles, replace of air. As already we have discussed, chlorine is used as a water purification. Even it is used as a bleaching agent in paper as well as in the textile industries. Even it is used as a to prepare pesticides like a gamexin. Inert gases like helium is filled in the gas balloons. Neon is filled in electrical tubes and glow signs, as well as argon is used as a filling in electric bulbs. So are the some more uses of non-metals. Got it? So I hope so all of you understood about the topic, and in next period we will learn about the new chapter, chapter number 5. Okay, bye.